Hello, this is Mark with The Mike Stone Show, Music, Stories, and Conversations. Welcome to Mike's conversation with musician and longtime member of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Bob Carpenter. There are musicians, and then there are musicians, the ones whose fingerprints are quietly all over the soundtrack of our lives. Bob Carpenter is one of those artists. A Grammy and CMA award winner, Bob Carpenter has spent decades shaping American music from behind the keyboard, behind the microphone, and sometimes quietly behind the scenes. From his early rock and R&B roots in Philadelphia, to the country and bluegrass mountains of Colorado, and now in Los Angeles, Bob has followed one simple rule: play great music wherever it leads. As a longtime member of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Bob has toured the world, helped earn 15 gold and platinum records, and co-written hits like Make a Little Magic, Fire in the Sky, and Baby's Got a Hold on Me. He also sang lead on the band's #1 hit, Stand a Little Rain. Along the way, he's worked with some of the greatest names in music history: Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Vince Gill, Alison Krauss, Chet Atkins, Earl Scruggs, John Denver, Kenny Rogers, and many more. But beyond the awards and the hit songs, Bob Carpenter's story is about passion, versatility, and a lifelong love of music that crosses every genre. Today, we sit down for a conversation with Bob Carpenter of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, talking music, songwriting, road stories, and a remarkable journey through decades of American sound. It's a conversation you won't want to miss. Mike's conversation with Bob Carpenter starts right now.
And we're excited to be speaking with Bob Carpenter, and a longtime member, I would say, of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. Bob, we really thank you for putting out some time to do this for us. We really, really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Mike.
Well, Bob, I'm located right here in Ruston, Louisiana. We have a university, Louisiana Tech University, and I clearly remember the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band coming to the university here. That's probably been, a long time ago. Were you there? Do you remember that?
We were at Louisiana Tech, I believe, about 50 years ago.
Yes, I saw you there.
Ruston is close to you, right?
Yes, Bob. Yeah, I saw that concert at the Louisiana Tech, and I'm going to tell you, it was the best concert that I've probably ever been to. You got called back 3 times at least on that show, and the people there at Louisiana Tech went crazy. So it was just a fantastic time. So I'd like to talk to you a little bit first on the tour, the good times. Is this really going to be a farewell tour for Nitty Gritty Dirt Band?
Yeah, we're not gonna be doing this into our 90s. So rather than just disappearing one day, we decided we'd go out and celebrate our career and thank the fans and give them one last chance to see us. Now, of course, we can't do all the cities we want to do in 1 year because we can't do 300 shows a year anymore. But, we'll do like 60-some shows this year. We've been getting so many requests from so many cities to come in and do a show. We're probably going to extend this into next year a little bit.
Well, I think as long as you extend it, Bob, that people would come and would be there because, hey, to me, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band was the deal, and it still is the deal, and that's the way I feel about it. Hey, just a little bit about your musical journey. I understand you're a Philadelphia guy.
I am.
Yeah. Well, I did a little research, and I know you played the accordion, or you got the accordion. I was sort of in the same vein. I played a little bit on my tin cans, and they said, get out of the living room. Tell us a little bit about where you got started with your music journey.
Well, my parents bought me an accordion when I was 4 years old. I wasn't quite ready yet, but I played it on and off as I was growing up. We had it around the house, And the funny thing is that I actually ended up with a band where I could use the accordion because we've used it a lot on all of our albums, and all the Circle Be Unbroken albums. I played more accordion on those albums than I played piano, because it just lended itself to what we were doing. We just came out with a new album last year called Dirt Does Dylan, and I played a lot of accordion on that. So I still play it on stage. In fact, I still play the accordion on stage that my parents got me when I was 4 years old.
That's amazing. And hey, I got a little connection. I did find out that maybe the first recorded song that you ever did was with your mother, and you sang "You Are My Sunshine." Is that true?
We can't find that anywhere. I don't know if you're old enough to remember. Probably not. But you used to be able to go into these booths and stick in a nickel and a piece of wax would fall down, and you could record your voice onto a little 45. So we went in and sang, but yeah, that is. I remember it, but it's gone.
Well, I'll tell you what, you sang one of our Louisiana favorite sons' song, "You Are My Sunshine." I believe that's what you recorded.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, and Jimmy Davis, former governor of Louisiana, is the one who wrote that song, "You Are My Sunshine."
There you go.
So I think you probably played a little bit in church like so many musicians did, you and your family and so forth.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, I tell you, we're talking to Bob Carpenter of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. Bob, I remember my wife and I saw the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band over a year ago now at the Strand Theater in Shreveport, Louisiana. Beautiful theater venue there. And I believe that the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band had been there before, but you've been to so many places, different venues, different audiences all across this nation and around the world. But I just wondered if you remembered anything about the Strand Theater and maybe more about some of the venues you played at.
You know what happens, Mike? We go, have we been here before? And then we walk in and we look through and we go, I think we have. And then we go down to like the dressing rooms or something. We go, oh, there we are. And there we signed the wall, you know? It's like, so.
Yeah. Well,
you remember when you get there sometimes.
What about the early formation of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band? Do you know a little history about how? I know it formed in Long Beach, California.
Yeah. Band came together actually as a jug band. And a wash tub bass Jimmy Fadden built and stuff like that, you know, and all acoustic instruments. And the band just kept playing music through the years, and it progressed through all the different iterations. I mean, Jeff used to play drums on some stuff, and Jimmy played lead guitar. Now Jimmy's playing drums, and Jeff's playing lead guitar. And that change took place a long time ago. But everybody's moved around a little bit. I used to play bass in the band for a while. You know, we just kept on doing whatever we could keep doing to make music, you know.
I understand the McCabe's Guitar Shop, which I'm a little familiar with. I got people at Long Beach, but that is where a lot of the guys would meet and start playing music, I think, right there at McCabe's Guitar Shop.
Yep, up here in L.A.
I understand Jackson Brown was an early member of the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
Oh, for a nanosecond, yeah. He was in the band for
y'all
a nanosecond. In fact, there's a really famous, well, not famous, but a good story that Jimmy Fadden tells about him walking outside at a rehearsal and Jackson sitting on the curb trying to find a rhyme to These Days. He was in the middle of writing that song. We've been in touch with Jackson. We did a thing for PBS back in 2016 called Circling Back 50 Years for our 50-year anniversary. And Jackson was nice enough to come in and do that show for us for PBS. So we filmed that whole thing. There's a recording of it. He came and did a couple songs with us.
That's a great story. And I guess some other original members, Ralph Barr, Les Thompson, Dave Hanna. I guess that was a brother of Jeff?
That was Jeff's little brother, yeah.
Okay. And Glenn Croclose, I guess I'm saying that right. And Jimmy Fad. Is it Jimmy Bobson? He came a little later, I guess.
No, Jimmy and Jeff are the two originals. They're still up on stage playing and recording. I came along, started working with them in the middle 70s, joined in 1980. So a lot of those guys that were in the band were there for the first, I don't know, probably maybe 6 or 7 years. And then things changed a lot after that. Jimmy and Jeff have been the guys. We got everybody in the band now, mostly that have sung the lead on all the hits, have written a lot of the songs, stuff like that.
Well, I've always been curious about how the name, the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, Bob, I've always been curious. How did he get his name? Who came up with that?
Jeff came up with the name. He claims he was sitting in a class in freshman year of college thinking about other things, and something that the professor said triggered it in his mind. Nitty Gritty is a phrase that's been around for a while. I think the Dirt Band thing got tacked on there. It's really hard to say because even when somebody tells you a story, you're not sure they remember it correctly in the first place.
That's a neat story, though. Yeah, Nitty Gritty has been around. That's what my mama used to call me when I came in from the summer. You Nitty Gritty all over. Go take a bath. You know. So would you say in the early days or even now, the California folk rock mixed with bluegrass and Americana music, would that be, I mean, you're not really in a lane that you can identify with too much. And I like that. I love that about the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. You really can't pigeonhole what the genre and what kind of music you play, right?
Yeah, you know, it was funny. When Bojangles came out, they played it on pop radio. and then they played the band on country radio, and then they played the band, and then it was roots music, and now it's Americana, and we don't care what anybody calls it as long as they keep talking, as long as they say something about it. We've been the same thing. We've been an acoustic-based band for the most part. We got accordions and harmonicas and mandolins and fiddles and acoustic guitar, so it's like we do a lot of singing on everything. We put an instrumental on an album every once in a while, but mostly it's about singing, it's about the songs, it's about the word. That's always been where the band was at. So I don't think, we've changed a little bit. Everybody evolves as they go through their musical career, but I think we've remained pretty true to ourselves.
Yeah, well, whatever you call it good music down here in the South.
Well, there you go. Thank you.
So I know you told me a little bit about when you first became a member of the band. You said you started playing with them about 1975, and how did that take place?
We were up in Colorado, and I was playing music, and I had a little band, and we had the same manager, Dirt Band. I just got to know them just from being around town and stuff like that. And they asked me to come in the studio and play some keyboards and stuff like that. And that's how we got started. Then I started working on all the albums with them. Jeff and I started writing songs together, and it was a real natural thing. I didn't audition for the gig or anything. We just started playing music together.
Yeah, and they all just migrated from California. Said we're going up to the mountains and Rocky Mountains and just get away a while.
Yeah, everybody went to the middle of the country at the same time.
Evidently, it was a good move for everybody because that's really where everything seemed to come together, right?
It seems like it worked out.
Well, I'd like to ask you, Bob, about some of the early recordings. I was really interested in this album. It was a great album. I played it over and over. Uncle Charlie and his dog Teddy. That is an amazing piece there when Uncle Charlie and his dog Teddy. I just got that in my mind about, come here, Teddy. But can you tell us a little bit about who was Uncle Charlie? I've always wondered who was Uncle Charlie.
Uncle Charlie was the band. The band's manager was named Bill McEwen. And that was actually his uncle. Bill had a little Niagara tape recorder and went up and recorded his uncle talking. And what happened was, interesting thing, there were 9 tracks recorded for that record, and the band needed a 10th cut. And that's how Bojangles was recorded. But nobody ever thought it would be a hit, and nobody ever thought they would play it on the radio because it was a waltz, and it was really long. And who wanted to hear a song about a dog dying? So what happened was that Bill at the time had that recording of his uncle and just tacked it on the front of the cut. And as it turned out, we still play it every night on stage.
Oh, man. That's a great story. And you could tell this was not an actor. This was really Uncle Charlie. I mean, he was really talking.
That's him. That's really him.
Yeah. And, of course, some of the songs that I played over and over, the Shelley Blues, some of the Shelley Blues. And I think
they're still doing that song.
Man, I tell you, and Mike Nesmith from the Monkees wrote that song, I understand.
Yes, he did.
And I think he also wrote another one from that album, Propinquity. Am I saying that right?
Propinquity is his song. Yep.
Yeah.
The Dirt Band's been really good at identifying really good songwriters. The Dirt Band was the first band to record any Kenny Loggins songs.
Yeah, House at Pooh Corner.
There you go.
I'm telling you, Bob, at Louisiana Tech that night, 50 plus years ago, that song stood out to me. I told my buddy Rick about it. House at Pooh Corner. I said they could have played that all night long.
The one thing the band's been really good at is when the band records some other people's songs, usually very high quality. Like we had our first #1 country hit with a Rodney Crowell song.
Yeah,
we love Rodney.
Yes.
So it's worked out really really good.
Yeah, and of course the old Jerry Jeff Walker, that Mr. Bojangles.
Yeah.
And y'all didn't really think that would take off like it did.
Oh, the record company, they're a little short-sighted sometimes, but nobody really thought that. We've only had one song in our entire career out of probably 500 songs we recorded that when we were recording it, we listened back, we thought it was a hit. There was only one.
Gracious. You just never know, do you?
You want to take a guess? One song we knew was going to be a giant hit, and it turned out to be a giant hit.
Well, right now, it slips on my mind, Bob. I can't think of it right now.
Fishing in the Dark.
Okay.
I mean, we realized the other day that when that thing came out, the people that were listening to it, that loved that song, that made it a hit back in the middle 80s, they're all on Medicare right now.
We're talking to Bob Carpenter. And just a few more questions, Bob, if you don't mind. Of course, y'all did When the Circle Would Be Unbroken. I got that triple album. Can you tell us a little? I know you had, Roy Acuff, Merle Travis, Mabel Carter, Earl Scruggs. How did you get those folks involved?
Earl Scruggs was really instrumental in doing that. He had two sons, Randy, who produced our second Circle album. But anyway, they were fans of the Dirt Bands. They loved the Uncle Charlie album. So they came to see a Dirt Band show, and they brought their dad along. And after the show, everybody got talking. He was amazed at how much the guys in the band loved acoustic string music, old-timey songs and stuff like that. So Earl was the guy that convinced most of those people, the old-timers on that record, to come and play on the record. And when I say old-timers, I have to laugh because those guys were in their 40s at that point.
I believe I've read where Earl Scruggs helped John McEwen, your former bandmate. They played together, or there was a lot of association there with John McEwen and Earl Scruggs. Is that correct?
John was in the band at the time, and yes, they were both banjo players. And
right.
I think John had cut his teeth on Earl's style. So yeah, they had a lot in common, absolutely.
So there was three of the Circle Will Be Unbroken, three of those albums. The first one is a triple set. Is that correct?
That's true.
And now you just mentioned this a minute ago. I've already listened to this, The Dirt Does Dylan. So how did that project come about?
We had just added Jeff Sun to the band to come up on stage and play with us. And we hadn't taken this lineup that we have on stage into the studio. And rather than going in and spending a whole long time doing a whole album of original material, sorting that all out, we just wanted to go in and do a project that would probably take us about 10 days. So we decided to focus around one songwriter and go in and do our version of that songwriter's songs. And of course, the guy with the biggest catalog in the world to choose from is Bob Dylan. And we thought it'd be interesting because we have a lot of harmonies in our band, and he doesn't have a lot of harmonies on his songs. So we thought it'd be nice to reimagine some of his songs. So it was supposed to take about 10 days, 2 weeks. And we were on there for a couple of days and got some stuff cut. And then the pandemic came along. And we didn't do anything for a year and a half. Went back in. So the album that was supposed to come out in the spring or summer of 2020, came out 3 years after that. We've always been a fan of Dylan's. We grew up, same age and stuff like that. So we thought it would be fun just to try to go into his catalog. The real challenge was out of all his material, finding the stuff that we really wanted to record and settle on 10 or 11 songs. But it was fun doing it.
Right. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, did y'all do a PBS special at the Ryman Auditorium?
Yep, for PBS.
All right. Is that available?
Yeah, it is. Well, you can go on PBS and look at it if you're a member. I think you can go online and find it, but I think it's also available. But it is available. Yeah, you might try Amazon, but you can certainly see it on PBS.
Right.
Yeah, when PBS airs something, we do it as a fundraiser for them. So there's always two versions of it. There's a version that they air, which takes about an hour. And then there's an extended version for about an hour and a half, which you can get delivered to your house on DVD. Or CD. If you donate money to PBS, that's the whole.
Yeah, they have the pledge drives that they do, and
we've done pledge drives for our 50-year anniversary show, with Jackson and all those people, and this one we've done it for that. We've done a lot of stuff for PBS over the years.
Yeah, I love the song "Forever Young" on that album, Dirt Does Dylan. I love that song, and I believe that's Jeff and his son. I believe singing that. I believe.
Yeah, it's Jeff and his son and me singing that song, "Forever Young." Yeah, there's two versions of that Dylan song. One he did with the band, which is an up-tempo song, and then there's another one that's slow. And we try to combine the two versions a little bit and reimagine the chorus. So, yeah, that's a fun song. We got a video out on that, too.
Oh, wonderful.
If you go on YouTube, we got videos on that, Girl from the North Country. Can't think of it right now. But anyway, yeah, so there's a bunch of videos that we produced for that album.
Well, Bob, tell me if I'm wrong here on the numbers. I have 25 studio albums, 4 compilation albums, 1 live album, 41 singles, and 4 number ones. Is that about right for the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band?
That's a little bit low. We got we got as far as I know, we got 3 or 4 live albums. So now I'm called Live 25. We did it on our 25th anniversary up in Canada, which I think is a really good one too. But I don't know. It's hard to say. We don't really keep track of that, but I think we're probably higher than that on most of that stuff.
Well, let's just say the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band has a tremendous catalog through the 50 plus years that it's been in existence. That's for sure. Hey, I want to ask you about a couple of songs that I love. I really love these songs, and I think you had some singers that backed you up. American Dreams, that was written by Rodney Crowell, right? I think Rodney wrote that. And Linda Ronstadt, I think she backed up the band with American Dreams. I don't know. Can you say anything about that song? I just love that song, and she did a great job with it.
Only that we all grew up together. You know, we knew Linda forever. And Jeff used to play with her every once in a while. You know, she had this little band called the Cadillacs or whatever it was.
Right.
And so when the song came up, we thought, boy, it would be great to do a recording with her. I mean, there's tons of stuff on YouTube of her playing with the Dirt Band on stage here and there, and, you know, just jamming and stuff like that. But, yeah, so she came and did that. And then when we had Make a Little Magic, Linda wasn't available, so our friend Nicolette Larson.
That was my next question. That was my next question, because I'm a fan of Nicolette Larson.
Me too. We love Nikki. Down the street from me. We were good friends.
Oh, gracious. Well, she left us way too early. The Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. Bob, thank you so much for speaking with us today.
You're welcome, Mike. Good deal. Thanks. You take care.
All right. Bye-bye.